A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson is the story of Dracula told from the perspective of his first wife, Constanta, through a series of diary entries that she writes to her husband in the start of this book after she and her two lovers decide to brutally murder him, and how they ultimately came to that decision and what they experienced as the wives of Dracula in order to ultimately have to make that choice in order to survive. I absolutely loved how this book centered Constanta's agency as a person and seeing how her relationships with her husband and his lovers, who she also becomes lovers with throughout this novel, as their relationships dynamics shift and change, developed, and how the abuse that they experience throughout this novel at the hands of Dracula and how he manipulates them and emotionally coerces them to stay in this extraordinarily ever evolving toxic relationship that they all sort of find themselves in, shifts and changes throughout the years and centuries that they are together. I absolutely loved the exploration of polyrepresentation and bisexuality that this book has in store. I loved the exploration of kink and how they navigated consent and the dynamics that they have with one another throughout this book. And I really liked how the relationship between Magdalena and Constanta and Alexei really evolved, and how they ultimately kind of decided that despite the fact that they loved their husband and that Dracula has given them this amazing, wonderful, unique life as his brides, that they were treated terribly by this man, and that ultimately, regardless of how they came about being vampires, they chose one another and they chose their survival over him because they genuinely love one another and genuinely want to see the best for one another. And I just thought that it was a really beautiful exploration of love and humanity and survival and what abuse does to the human psyche emotionally and mentally, and how you can survive and recover from that, and how they went on to live glorious, beautiful lives once they ended up getting away from Dracula. I really, really loved A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson, and I am really looking forward to exploring whatever she writes next. So, yeah, that was my review of this book. I highly recommend it and definitely think you guys should all check it out. And I will see you guys in the next video.